validation for the solidity and the legitimacy of this program. So the long-haul program was stopped March 1. That's very, very positive, folks, for all of us as participants, because it means that Roman is no longer dependent upon new resources coming in, okay, to sustain the program. Furthermore, it means that he is not dependent upon new resources coming into the program in order to be able to meet the Easter gift commitment on April 1st. Absolutely fantastic, okay? So I want to add to that. Many of us are aware of this video that is out there, which and again, just because of the way that I'm plugged in with certain people right now, I get all this information very quickly. And when I listened to it, I simply sat there and shook my head and frowned and grinned at the whole thing. You see, there are certain people out there that make their money going out under the pretense of being an expert, Ponzi expert, being able to locate these Ponzi schemes. And they bring people to their platform, and there's always a way for them to collect revenue in the process. But what I noticed here is the fact that the gentleman who was on this video had already come to the conclusion and had verbalized the fact that this was a Ponzi scheme. Therefore, when he went out to get the information that he needed to substantiate the fact that it was and was unsuccessful, he couldn't change his story. He was already way too committed to his position. And that's just exactly what goes on out there, folks. Again, he couldn't find any information to support, you know, his bottom line judgment on the thing. But what is he going to do at this point? You know, retract what he said? No. I mean, this is just typical out there. Okay, so just understand that, folks. As my friend Zig Ziglar has often said, when you're flying high, that's when you're shot at. If you're on the ground, if the bird is on the ground, nobody's interested in that bird, and that's exactly what's going on here. Now, that does not mean that we do not have some issues out there. Okay, so we'll be addressing that in just a minute, folks. But what I wanted to say to you is I sit here this morning more confident than ever before about the legitimacy of the program being validated. Number one, first step, long-haul program did come to an end, and there's been a huge amount of resources going into that program, but it stopped in spite of the fact that there is a huge commitment and obligation on Roman's behalf to pay out the Easter gifts on April 1. The combination of those two things, to me, is absolutely incredible for us. So we should take that to heart. Okay, back to you, John.
I had muted myself. And by the way, you guys, this is a family call today, our community, and we're not recording this, so that was actually fun. I was just enjoying you, Ralph, sitting away and then starting to talk, and anyway, muted myself out. Guys, what I love about really what is going on right now is the opportunity for us to see really by experience the fact that Roman does what he says he will do. And many Ponzi schemes that we have possibly been burned by, and I agree with Ralph, you do not get that consistency. Usually there's a froth of activity, we're going to be closing, we're going to be closing, we're going to be closing, and then, oh, by the way, well, why don't we extend it? We'll just extend it a couple of days or one more day. Then there's a froth of activity, and then it extends more day. So you all, what we're really able to see here is this. We have in a man who has for 24 months straight paid out consistently without any complaint. You think about that, all right? The only situations that we're finding is that the bank wires that were being used, that is the only situation where there's been frustration, is getting those bank wires through from our shores to Profitable Sunrise. So when I say our shores, our accounts. And so what I'm trying to say here is I have seen Roman to be true to his word. And so with that in mind, we do want to address what many of you have already heard, is that the North Carolina Attorney General, they have issued a temporary cease and desist order on Profitable Sunrise operating in North Carolina. And let's just take a step back here. If you have attended any of the webinars that Ralph and I have been giving, you would have heard one consistent thing, and that is, if we don't stop talking in securities language about something that is not a unregistered security, okay, namely that we're participating in a loan with Roman and Profitable Sunrise, if we continue to treat it and talk about it as though it is an investment, this could happen, and guess what? It did. Here is the essence of what happened, and I'm first of all going to show you a statement from Roman, all right, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this. But here is the statement from Roman. I assure you that we are in control of the situation. We will issue an official update soon. Have a blessed day. All right? So this I'm going to leave up here because this man is not going to hide from addressing this, okay? There will be a statement that he will give, but here is what, in essence, has happened. The banks of North Carolina have reported, of course, that their money is flowing out of their banks into a program called Profitable Sunrise. They reported the situation to the Attorney General, and he is just simply doing his due diligence, okay? Now, let me explain to you what, in essence, has happened. A temporary cease and desist is exactly that. It's a chance. It's not saying that it is a Ponzi scheme. It is not saying that it is a violation of securities law. If it were, they would have issued a permanent cease and desist immediately, and secondly, they would have had the SEC into it right away. What this is a chance for Roman to do exactly what he's saying here. Hey, we've had reports that of money coming out of our banks coming to you, and we want you to address the situation. Now, and here is what has happened too, is as I read that cease and desist order, the main complaint, the main thing that they centered on was the website. And remember that Ralph and I for the last months have been saying, remember, this website is not compliant with North Carolina, with any of the other 49 states' law, because here in America, we cannot use the word investment. And yet, of course, all over YouTube and all over websites were the word investment because Roman was using it. Okay, remember, his law requires him to say that. Now, the issue that North Carolina has is because people in North Carolina can view that website, simply they feel that it is a violation of North Carolina law soliciting an unregistered security. And Roman, of course, is not registered in North Carolina to do a security because it isn't, okay? It's a loan that we're participating in. So it has nothing to do with securities violation, and yet on his website they're deeming that to be a violation simply because North Carolina people can view it. Well, so can everybody else, okay, around the world. But again, this is what Roman has in front of him, is to simply address the situation in North Carolina, help the Attorney General know that it's a legitimate business model that he is doing, and he will do that. When I say that, he'll issue an official update, and we will. I'm just so grateful we have a leader here who has our back, and but we assure you, and I agree with you, Ralph. I am more confident now than I was 3 weeks ago. We have had some compliance things taken care of. We didn't know that this would happen this soon, but we knew that it might happen because there was so much non-compliance in our country. So we want to assure you, our friends, that Profitable Sunrise is not being taken down. It is not being closed. It is one state's inquiry, and that's all it is. It's an inquiry into the practices of Profitable Sunrise for 30 days, all right? It's a temporary cease and desist. Now, what does that mean for you folk in North Carolina? You got to respect your authorities right now. And do not, what we encourage you, the authorities, the Lord says, is put up there to keep us safe and help us. And so we want everyone to abide in North Carolina, abide by that ruling. And no additional people coming in North Carolina. We encourage you to just kind of hang tight, sit tight. Let us show them that we are people of integrity and that we respect our government. And so we want you to do that. That does not mean that any monies that you have currently working is not going to stop working. That's nothing like that. Okay. Remembering that we have in here a man of integrity. Roman is a strong man of integrity, and he will handle this appropriately for us. So we want you to not panic, okay? Please don't panic. There's no need for that. Understand exactly what this is. So, Ralph, any other comments or any thoughts that I might not have made clear? Any thoughts that you have?
I would like to simply connect on to what you said, folks. It's so important. I'm disappointed we don't have more people on the call today. We've got a very, very small group out there, but we can be powerful if we get the right message out. And I told John this morning, to me, again, this was not a surprise. Again, you've heard me talk about it. I said that this is going to be forthcoming because of all the violations, the massive amount of violations that are in place out there. Okay, but because this happened in North Carolina, and we know because of another company, this is probably the first state to simply get involved here, and rightfully so. They were simply doing their job because people were going out, putting up the website, which in essence offers for sale and unregistered security. Okay, so they're simply doing their job, folks. So what we need to do is, in my mind, we need to pull back. And the priority for us right now that the long-haul program's closed, is to work together, getting the information out and using what happened in North Carolina as a red flag for all the other violations that are going on elsewhere. In other words, remember, we have a task force where you can report these violations and getting these sites down, which again are a gross violation, okay, of the securities law in this country. Very, very important to do that because in all likelihood, if we're not able to get it under control, you'll see other states follow. Okay, because this is going on in many more states. So don't be surprised if that doesn't happen at this point unless we get this under control. All right, very, very important. And the other thing, too, that I would suggest, and this is only a suggestion, John and I talked about this morning, is that you back away. The private plan has been open for a long time. It will continue to be open. At this point, I think to go into a quiet period would be the best thing we could do. Simply pull back, okay, rejoice at where we are, but use this as a warning that we cannot operate in violation of laws that exist in the United States, period, okay? So I wanted to add to that, John, at this point. This is a cautionary thing for us. We need to take this, okay, as a caution and move forward accordingly because of it.
Well, I agree 100% with you, Ralph, and you guys, that's what we were going to be doing in the month of March anyway, yes. Is kind of taking a pause. So this is all, don't feel like any pause that we take in webinars or anything is because we're afraid or are concerned. That's not at all the issue. What we are really wanting to do is allow Roman the time to be able to address the North Carolina situation and be able to do that, and then come back at a time and present as we are as an Nancy Jo Fraser Global Group, all right? This is a name only. It's not Profitable Sunrise. It's just a name, and under that umbrella of name are separate entities, and we will be taking the time to educate you and help you with some resource management and some things that we all need to know as this month progresses and April 1 comes close. So again, dear friends, be encouraged, be peaceful in your hearts. God is in control. I have no fear at all, okay? I do want to address a couple of other things. In the meantime, some of you continue to report that you are not receiving emails, okay? And here I have added one more little line that if you have not yet done so, add johnfocusup@gmail.com and njfglobal@yahoo.com to your address book. So you need to put John Simmons, okay? Add me as a contact. Jon is my name, Simmons, S-I-M-M-O-N-S, and please add johnfocusup@gmail.com, okay, in your address book, and that will allow any emails that I send out personally to be more maybe a little higher percentage of it arriving in your inbox. The other one is njfglobal@yahoo.com. I am writing from the NJF Global one right now because this one right here seems to be being blocked more often. So I am writing, and you're going to get emails from Nancy Joe, and I do identify that it's me and not Nancy writing, okay? Now, another couple of things. There is no chairman call this Tuesday night. Nancy's on vacation, so there will be no chairman call on Tuesday night, all right? Lastly, if you are and have not already done so, we want you to visit the NJF Global Group site, all right? Now, when you visit the njfglobalgroup.com site, there is on the front page an entry agreement that Nancy wants every one of us to sign, okay? And that is because her term is coming up for renewal. She is being renewed, by the way. And we want everybody to be able to understand that we're all going to be playing by the same rules here. We're all going to be, because of, another illustration of what's happened here in North Carolina, our great government is stepped in and said, hey, wait a minute, there's verbiage here that should be used, and you know what? We agree with them. We agree with them. So there has been verbiage that has been used, but not because we're a Ponzi scheme. It's just because the verbiage was being used. So guys, we want you to be in agreement and compliant with these facts, okay? So Nancy has gone so far as to say she's considering that those who have not signed it will not be sent emails. And so understand that we are right now sending emails only to this list. Okay, now, if you're on that list and you're not receiving emails, that's why I asked you to add us to the address book of your email provider, and that often does allow emails through. Now, the other thing is to check your spam folder, and if you're not receiving emails, when you see it in spam, don't just click on it, but click on it and or report it as not spam. And you keep doing that over and over again, and it will start allowing them into your email inbox. So you can't just click on it, because the next time it's going to come into spam again. So report it as not spam, and that educates your electronic email screener to allow it through, okay? If you still are not getting them, I need you to call your email provider and tell them that you want anything from Constant Contact, C-O-N-S-T-A-N-T, contact, Constant Contact, to be allowed in. And that is our preferred email provider that we have chosen, all right? Lastly, another reason that we do need to take a break is that we are in the final stages of our software. And guys, I really need a break to be able to get that done. I am not support, and neither is Ralph, okay? We are volunteers. I'm actually employed by Focus Up Ministries. I do not receive any any income from Profitable Sunrise from Nancy, and neither does she, by the way. But I have to get this project done. While she's on vacation, that's going to be my focus. Guys, I would ask you to respect my time. Please don't be emailing me about support issues. I am not support, all right? If you do have a problem, you need to write support@profitablesunrise.com. If you have an issue with a bank wire that you did issue through Profitable Sunrise site, you need to write bank@profitablesunrise.com. If you we encourage you, if you see something on YouTube or on the email where, on the website, on the internet, anything that speaks of investment, you need to report this to reportspam@gmail.com. However, we need you to do some more research on it yourself, because they can't just follow up on a username, for example. They need to know where it was found and any kind of contact information that you can give, a phone number, email address, anything like that. Because if you're finding this, for example, on an ad circulator, they're going to just, all they're going to have is a username. So guys, help us with this, because this is a wonderful blessing that we have. And so please report it to this our Global Compliance Task Force at the psreportspam@gmail.com. Okay. Now, any serious unresolved ProSun issues, okay, NJF Direct, all right, NJF Direct is on, excuse me, just one second. Let me bring that up again just a second. I apologize. NJF Direct at gmail.com is what you want to go see, okay? Now, just one second here. I need to be able to access my file. Just for a moment. I'm bringing up my own dashboard here. And so NJF Direct at gmail.com, my apology. So if you wouldn't mind taking all issues, don't write me. Now, let me clarify something. When I'm sending an email from Constant Contact, and it says, respond to John Simmons, if you have any issue that's support related, don't reply to John Simmons, okay? I really need to be focusing on this project, and any kind of anything about the email, you're not receiving emails, anything about the webinars, but any other issue, please talk right, especially if it's important, okay? But we encourage you, because again, we're not Profitable Sunrise. You got to understand that. We are simply participants who are trying to help guide and direct and encourage our team to be compliant and growing in the right way. Profitable Sunrise is the only ones who can really address your issue. Now, yes, they're growing quickly, and we're thanking the Lord that they're growing quickly, okay? However, with that growth comes some patience that's required. So please be patient with them. If they have not responded, I want to give you a couple of tips. Remember that our support structure right now is people who are not, where English is not their primary language. Okay? So we want you to help them by being clear in your email. And this is what I mean. Don't write a big paragraph. If I sent you a paragraph in Spanish, because I know how to speak Spanish, and I sent you a long paragraph, you might understand a few English-related words, like refrigeradora is refrigerator. Well, okay, you might understand that, but you won't understand the gist of what you're saying. So here's what you need to do when you write Profitable Sunrise. In the subject line, be very specific and brief about what you need them to do. For example, if you need to be to have them find a wire, you say missing bank wire from whatever date. If you need them to find a secret word, cannot find, don't remember my secret word. Okay, help them know in the subject line what the situation is. That way, people who are more expert in one sort of a topic than the other can grab those emails and answer them. Okay, then in the body of the email, just bullet point it. Okay, please bullet point. What I mean by that is literally, my name is, bullet point number 2, my username is, point number 3, I sent a wire on XYZ date. And remember that any wires that were sent from Solid Trust Pay, they can't, they cannot do. If you're using an e-currency account for any online program, that is not Profitable Sunrise. You need to separate that out. So please, we do ask that you keep that's separate, okay? Anything from Solid Trust from ProSun, all right? And so with that in mind, just be clear and help them understand what you're doing. And Ralph, is there any other thing as far as support that you would like to add?
Not really. I think you covered it all, really. I would just like to emphasize again that we really go on a warpath here, looking for these violations, these violators out there. And, you know, in a lot of cases, it's just a Profitable Sunrise website, which is, you can't do it, okay? That site in and of itself is an offering of an unregistered security, okay? That's to be private, one-on-one. If people are violating that, we need to try to circle the wagons here and do everything we can to eliminate the violations.
John,
Okay.
may I insert something?
Please do.
This is Pat. On the bank wire, you may be sure that they attach a copy of their bank wire and also the email instructions they received.
Okay.
Isn't that correct?
Go ahead, Pat.
Isn't that correct that they do need to do that so they can trace it or whatever?
Yeah, are you talking, just to reiterate what you're saying, do I hear you saying that they need to include a scanned copy of their bank wire?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And here is another thing. One of the reasons I was kind of stumbling a little bit in my words here is I just pulled up another email from one of the leaders, and here is a statement from Roman as it pertains to bank wire deposits. Okay, he said this: "We would like to remind you that we will only honor the bank wire transfer deposits for long haul even if they arrive after March 1. All other requests, including STP deposits, are declined. Our software has already been modified and cannot be reversed." In other words, if you put a software request in from Solid Trust Pay and it wasn't a bank wire, okay, and it wasn't a bank wire, remember, they cannot address that Solid Trust Pay issue, and they will not be able to put it over from on March 1st. I'm talking about those things that you merged over from your e-currency provider and arrived in your private plan. Those will not be moved over, okay? The only thing he is honoring is bank wires that were made on March 1st. So it's bank wires made, paid for, etc. All right? So just want to make that very, very clear. We don't want to be putting out there any statements, again, that cause confusion. So do not write that about, please, you know, we were told that March 1 is, you know, March 1 we could do this, and I've done it, and now we can't do it. Guys, again, their software was hard-coded in, and it was clearly a misunderstanding. By the way, we apologize for that. We did pass on what we got from support, but clearly there's some global miscommunication with languages and also time zones, okay? But bottom line, the only support issues that they will entertain, and you need to put this in your email heading, is bank wire sent March 1, okay? And then copy what the receipt is. So a bank wire is the only thing. If you say anything about Solid Trust Pay other than bank wire, it's not going to be issued, okay? They're just going to decline it and send back and say they can't solve that issue, all right? So now, Ralph, it's getting to be 11:30 here. We've been on for about 40 minutes. Why don't we do this? I am going to open up just real quickly a screen for our Q&A, and let me see if what I can do is bring in the Q&A chat screen. Okay, just one second. My computer's giving me a slow time this morning. Pat, by the way, did that answer your question, or did that I help and add on to what you were saying?
Yes, I just think it's very important for support to have a copy of the bank wire and also a copy of the email instructions. That's what they have asked me in the previous on a couple of problems.
All right.
Okay.
Guys, okay, Pat, yeah, and listen, for whatever reason, my chat window is freezing on me here. Here's what I would like to say on this, is that I have not heard this too much before. Typically, a closed date is a closed date, okay? But he does want to honor the fact that wires do take a little extra time. So when, if you want to, you simply could make that available to them, that you have sent a wire, that you expect the wire. Anything that was sent on Friday, you guys most likely will not hit your Solid Trust Pay account until Wednesday at least, okay? So, they say 2 to 3 business days. In my experience, 3 business days is going to be the key, Wednesday. But again, you guys, for whatever reason, I'm not able to bring up a chat window. Why don't we do this? Ralph, is there any other closing thoughts that you have?
No, I would simply say that we have a very small core group online this morning, and we need to enroll every single one of them in getting the information out that we talked about today.
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate each one of you that are on the line today. Listen, it's not that I want to avoid. My computer's just frozen, guys. I'm so sorry. God is in charge again, and I take that seriously. And I'm not just bypassing this, but I cannot access the chat window, nor can I get at the attendee list. So, guys, what we're going to do now is this. Let's go forward a little bit in the week. We are going to be taking a break of the Monday, Wednesday, Saturday webinars until further notice. Let's just take a breather, enjoy our families, allow me to get this huge project complete for Nancy, and again, any support issues, just do right, profitable sunrise. Nancy is on vacation. Al is the only one in the office, you guys. So unless it is absolutely critical, please don't call them. Or unless it's hugely important, I cannot keep up with all the emails and phone calls and get this project done. So please respect what I'm saying here, and allow me as a participant to help Nancy to do the job that I was called to do.